Great. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for being here on a Friday night. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:31 p.m. We're going to do the roll call first. Dr. John Rich.
Here.
Dr. Scott McNeil.
Here.
Dr. Marla Gold.
Here.
Dr. Tyra Bryant Stevens.
Here.
Dr. Jennifer Ibrahim.
Here.
And I can't see other people. I'll call names just in case. Dr. Amit Ismail.
Here.
And sorry.
Anna is on as well.
Okay, Dr. Ana Diaz-Rue.
Hi.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to turn things over to Ben to explain the public comment process.
Thank you, Dr. Bedegal. So there's one regulation being presented to the board tonight, and it'll be presented by Joe Rosenberger Altman. The public has the opportunity to comment on this regulation during this hearing and also prior to the hearing by sending emails to me, Benjamin Hartung at phila.gov. And there's also a question and answer function in the chat of the GoToWebinar where questions can be submitted after the presentation of the regulation. I will spell out my email address for comments quickly. It's benjamin.hartung@phila.gov. And if you submit a comment, the board is required to review it prior to voting on the regulation, but is not required to comment on it at this initial voting session. I will also add that this meeting is being recorded and will be posted online pursuant to state law and city ordinance. I'll now turn it over to Joe Rosenberger Altman from the Law Department of the City of Philadelphia to present the regulation to the board.
Good evening, and thank you all for joining us. Hopefully very briefly, we have a joint emergency regulations concerning rules and guidelines for COVID-19 safety at polling sites on Election Day, which is coming up on November 2nd, 2021. It is being considered by the Board of Health today, and early next week will be considered by the Board of Elections. And so I thank you for your flexibility meeting so that the timing of both could occur before the upcoming election. And I'm going to be very brief. I'm just going to highlight this is a regulation you've adopted variations of at prior elections throughout this pandemic. I'm just going to note the two very minor changes from the last regulation that was adopted similarly for the last election, and then ask if you have any questions. So the two changes, and again, very minor, the prior regulation instructed all voters to stay at least 6 feet from other voters while inside the facility or waiting outside the facility, and required poll workers to use tape, signs, and other visual cues to encourage the distancing in the space, with the exception of gymnasium floors, which is a particular issue for the Philadelphia School District. And that has been changed to encourage voters to keep a reasonable distance from other voters while inside the facility or waiting outside of the facility. The other change is from requiring poll workers to direct voters not actively engaged in checking in or voting to wait outdoors, to encourage voters that are not actively engaged in checking in or voting to wait outdoors. There's still masking requirements to the extent there's an individual that is unable to wear a mask, or that is symptomatic in any way. There's still going to be distancing requirements with respect to those individuals. But for the general voting population, that has been eliminated in a number of other Board of Health regulations, and is so not being required in this one, although it'll still be encouraged. And that is it. Otherwise, it is identical in substance to the regulation you passed for the last election, I believe in May, the primary. And with that, I would just ask if there's any question.
And Ben, can you tell us if there were any public comments or questions?
I have not received any comments or questions at this time.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the regulation?
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
And second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. The one other quick order of business is to ask if anybody had any questions about the meeting minutes from our last meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you very, very much for letting us invade your Friday night to take care of this business and keep the city safe. And we will now adjourn. It is 6:37 p.m. Stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend.
Take care, you too.
Thanks. You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.